Fear stops us from achieving our true greatness. Are you a professional woman who is feeling stuck, unmotivated, or burned out? Are you worried about your wellness? Are you letting fear stop you from crushing your goals? If you answered yes to any or all of these, then this is the podcast for you. Dr. Charmaine Gregory, night shift emergency physician, burnout thriver, and wellness champion, along with everyday heroes just like you, will explore how to face fear in our lives and emerge victoriously.
Hello. Dr. G, welcome back. Thank you for joining us on this episode. Super excited that you are here. And oh my goodness, I slotted a certain amount of time for announcements, and I don't know, it's going to be tight. It's going to be tight getting it all in here, but here it goes. Okay, so first and foremost, thank you. We crushed 13,000 downloads just the other day, and we are on pace to crush 14,000 downloads. Thank you so much. This is amazing because there is absolutely no way this could have happened without you, because you have essentially allowed for this podcast to be a success the way that it is, to touch the amount of people that it has touched. And I'm doing my happy dance over here. So if you're watching the video, you can see me doing the happy dance. If you are listening, you can just imagine that I'm doing the happy dance. So there you go. And so thank you so much for subscribing to the podcast, listening to the podcast, sharing it with a friend or two, and leaving a 5-star rating. I appreciate you so much. And then here's the deal. If you're looking to start a podcast, it's the perfect time. Now is the perfect time to do that. And I have something fantastic for you. And the first thing is that I have a podcasting launch course for professionals. And great news is that we ran the course earlier in the year, and I am actually going to run the course again in a couple of weeks. So we're going to be starting on August 24th. It's a 6-week course, and it will put you in an amazing position with, guess what, your show at the end of the course. So what do you get? Why would you even want to do this? Now, if you're in a position where you've been thinking about starting a podcast, but you weren't sure where to begin, or if you have been wanting to get your message out to the world through mediums other than social media, or maybe you're in a position where you'd like to have your voice in the ears of your tribe with information that you know will help them in life. Perhaps you're kind of saying, well, have you ever listened to a podcast and thought, wow, what kind of cool item or what kind of cool thing that is to do? Maybe I should try to do that. Or maybe you're just looking to increase revenue in your business, and podcasting is a great way to do that. So there are truly a multitude of reasons why people start podcasts. And basically they are so incredible. The benefits of opening up this side of your brain is absolutely phenomenal. I can teach you everything you need to know to get started and you basically walk away with 5 episodes ready to go. And you won't have to do this alone, because guess what? I'll be there with you. You'll have me by your side every step of the way, along with the support of other participants in the course. So here's the catch. There are only limited spots, and they are going fast, because I literally just announced that the dates, and we already have filled half the slots. So if you have been thinking about this, you've been on the fair fence, now is the time. And this is the last time that I'm going to be having it at this low price. So once this iteration is completed, the price is going to go up. And yeah, so just think about this. In October, you could have a podcast already launched into the world, making waves, doing amazing things, and all you have to do is say, I am ready. You can just go right to signup.podcastinglaunch.com, and that is signup, podcastinglaunch.com. Just go there, sign up, be in the class, make it happen, get your zone of genius out there into the world, evergreen content, into the ears of your tribe. Let's do it. So in this episode, I'm just so excited about that. Oh my gosh, so excited. Oh, and I didn't even mention this, but so that's the podcast course, which I am extremely excited about. And we'll talk a little bit in 2 minutes about, the shows that have come out already and how well they're doing, because they are doing fabulous. And then the other thing is I do have that podcasting done for you service that we offer. And so that is where either you have the content or you're basically thinking you have an idea, a concept, and you just do not have the time to take a 6-week course. You would rather get the recordings done and then have me put it all together for you and then launch your podcast for you. So if that's what you'd like to do, definitely reach out and we can get that situated. Now, this is a really exciting time because there are definitely lots of folks who are taking advantage of this particular service because they realize that all they have to really do is just create the audio, and then myself and the team, we do everything else and do all the heavy lifting for you. And boom, at the end, you have your show. Your show gets distributed and amazing awesomeness happens. The other way is if you already have a podcast and you're just looking to offload the tasks of editing, production, maybe show notes, graphics for the episodes, those kinds of things, then we do have a monthly subscription. And so that is also an option for you. So 2 exciting offerings in the done for you space. And basically you can either get your show started with your first 5 episodes with Podcast in a Box. You like the name? I think it's really cool. And the other one is to do the monthly subscription where you literally can get your show produced, edited, and you get all the items that you need, your graphics, your show notes, everything included within that subscription. So hit me up if that's something that interests you. Awesome. So excited about that. And then so this episode number 86, it was done live, extemporaneous speaking live. It was done live on the Fearless Freedom with Dr. G Facebook page, as well as my YouTube channel, which is Charmaine Gregory, MD. Please go there, subscribe so you don't miss the great content that gets put on there every single day. So check that out. And then thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for subscribing to the channel and leaving a positive comment. I appreciate you because you are so amazing. And so this is another way for us to connect. So if you are interested in connecting with me and the guest that's on live, and we're having a live episode, which we will have periodically live ones, you can literally jump on and I usually put an announcement out about the episode being live. Jump on either the YouTube channel or on Facebook and be part of the episode. So you leave a comment, you get your name on there, you get your comment, comment or your question answered in real time by myself, by the guest. So how fun is that? So that we can connect with each other and be a part of each other's lives. So that is another exciting piece. Last thing. So I am also trying to figure out what kind of swag I need to put together for the podcast, because I'd like to get some swag out there. I feel like it's about that time to get swag out, and I feel like we need to have a swag store. And so I need your help in figuring out what kind of swag we need to have in the Tribe Swag store so that we can light it up and have as many really neat looking items out there portraying and promoting the podcast. All right. So thank you for that. Thanks in advance for your great ideas. Okay. All right. So now we are at the point where we get to uplift, we get to edify the podcast that came out of the Podcast and Launch course. And it's amazing. Absolutely amazing. So first and foremost is Pivot and Bloom. Pivot and Bloom is up to 10 episodes now. So Dr. Mila is killing it. So pure fire. And so she's up to 10 episodes and way over 500 downloads. And she is just keeping it lit. So definitely go and check her podcast out. It's called Pivot and Bloom. Okay. And then the next podcast, which I was super excited because she released the episode this week with our interview together. And it's really deep. Basically, Patty Perez is the host, and she has the podcast is called The Drama Free Workplace with Patty Perez, and we get into some really deep conversation. And she's had some amazing guests on the show, just talking about equity and all of the good stuff, being immigrants, like all kinds of really awesome content. So definitely go and check out The Drama Free Workplace with Patty Perez. And if you feel so inclined, go ahead and check out the episode that she and I had, which was released this week. Okay, I think I got all the announcements. I think I have. Yes, I sure have. Okay, I had to just double check. Okay, so super excited. Let's go. We're going to go ahead and we're going to hear from Dr. Barbara Hamilton. She is the guest that was so brave to get on the show live last week, Thursday. We did the filming at that time and the recording at that time. And, you know, she has an amazing story to share. And I look forward to you being a part of it and sharing it. So here we go. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Dr. G, and you are joining us live. Yes, live. We are here in the studio, quote unquote. You can't see my fingers if you're listening, but quote unquote. And today we have the amazing Dr. Barbara Hamilton, and she is going to be she's actually pretty brave, I have to say. Talk about facing fear. She's very brave because I said, hey, let's just do this, live. And she was just kind of like, really? And I said, yeah, let's do it. So what a great way to face your fear boldly. So here she is. Dr. Hamilton, you want to tell the Fearless Freedom Tribe who you are and what you are about?
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on your show. I love your mission, just the way that you've tackled your own fear. What better way to tackle a fear of public speaking than starting a podcast? I think it's awesome. So I am a physician blogger. I've been blogging for 2 years about women in male-dominated fields. And when I looked around the internet, I just felt like I didn't see our voice out there. And so after I had settled into my job in private practice, which, not a lot of trainees have access to attendings in private practice. They don't know what that's going to be like. And I bought a house, got married, had a baby. I felt like I had arrived, and I just felt like I had to share what it was like and, the pitfalls involved because, it's not easy for anyone.
Wow. You mean there is not like a halcyon that happens right after you get done with residency? Darn it.
Oh, what?
It's not like paradise. Like you don't step into
It is. It kind of is. I mean, I honestly feel it is a little bit. And that's why I had to share that, because I think along the way in training is not paradise. And, everybody understands that residency is hard, but I don't think how it's going to be hard. So I think that's the part that I want to demystify for women who are in that tough spot. They're either, as a medical student, they're going through those clinical rotations and they don't really fit in everywhere. But they know that they like working with their hands. And then somebody comes to them and says, women don't really do this. That's where I want to intervene. And I want them to find my blog in the middle of the night, whether it's midnight, 2 a.m. And I want them to just realize that they can do it and that they can have different things. They can't have everything at the same time. Right. But I talk about all the different things that I have built just as an example. My transition won't look like everyone's.
True. And then you are in a pretty unique field. So you want to tell the audience what you do exactly?
Yes. So I'm an interventional radiologist, and my field is just 9% women. So it varies a little bit across the country, but it is very male dominated. And I struggle a little bit with this term, but I also feel like it encapsulates a lot of what ties my field to other fields like it. So there are a lot of the surgical subspecialties that are still male dominated. And I think we share a lot in common. So even though I'm not like removing an appendix or, doing a urogyne surgery, like we all work in these spaces where we run into similar issues. not to say it's all bad. It's just the expectations are a little bit different. Maybe people don't expect you to be there, and they're surprised. And I've actually learned to embrace that surprise. So when people are, they're like, oh, you're the interventional radiologist. That was the first couple of years in private practice. It was like, oh, I've never actually encountered a female IR before. Yeah. And I liked that because they would see me down the hallway, you know, they would recognize me from half a mile away because I was that chick who did IR. And I love that. I mean, I just came to embrace it. And I think other people can too. It's fun. I mean, and then you can just surprise people because, you know, if they look at you, they don't necessarily think that you're going to bring, this sounds so bad, but maybe they don't expect you to bring all the expertise. Maybe they don't expect that you just trained at a transplant center or all the wonderful things that you've done. They don't know, just, you know, because you
underestimate your power.
Yeah. I mean, women are underestimated.
Yes.
I don't think it's a secret. And so you can make it fun. I mean, to me, that's fun.
I see. And then so are you getting this from mainly patients? Are you getting this from colleagues? Like, who is this coming from?
So I'm 6 years into practice now. It doesn't happen as much. And it was from the referring physicians. We have residency programs now that came into my hospital, and it comes from many angles. I will say my staff is really good about introducing me multiple times before I come in the room. They'll say, Dr. Hamilton is coming, Dr. Hamilton, Dr. Hamilton, Dr. Hamilton. And by the time I come in, I say, I'm Dr. Hamilton, and it's clear.
Ah, nice. Love it.
So I think that, and I didn't train them to do that. I think I'm just in an environment maybe where they were told to do that. They were told to make it clear who the physician was. I mean, in this day and age of surveys and everything, that's important. So
Absolutely.
They do a really great job with that. I have to say that really takes away from the work that I have to do. But there is, of course, there are those patients. Oh, you're the doctor? Yes.
Right.
I still get that. Definitely.
Well, I still get that at 45 years old.
Yeah. Do they say, oh, you look too young?
Well, no, they just can't believe I'm the doctor.
You have great skin. They're probably like, you're way too young to be doing this.
Maybe. Oh, look, we have a comment from Dr. Branna. He's joined us. He's saying, awesome, Dr. Gregory and Hamilton. He had no idea there was such a disparity in IR. Yeah. I think that it's definitely something that isn't well known, right? I mean, I had no idea. I mean, I figured it'd be more than 9 or 10%.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
there are lots of fields like ours. I mean, it's become the drum that I'm beating on my blog because I thought, I can make it my personal mission to show women so they can join me, that this is a great field, and it applies to other fields as well. And so even though I don't perform neurosurgery, I think that some of the things that I write about on my blog still apply.
Oh, and absolutely.
So, yeah, if you're wondering, I mean, I can just be, women in these fields don't have a lot of role models. When there's only 9% and they're scattered around the country, they don't have a role model right there.
And then, so do you find that there is that you tend to gravitate to other colleagues who are also in the field, who are female? Like, do you find that, or is there a connection? Is there some kind of network? What is there? Is there anything like that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, and it's an amazing time to be alive because of the internet. So,
right. Yes. No, it's a beautiful thing.
Because we used to be spread apart. So even when I was a trainee and they hadn't had a female fellow in interventional radiology since the 90s, it had been over a decade. I mean, times have changed just from in that short period. So now we have all these online ways to meet and interact. And so, yes, there are lots of ways. I would still like to reach, who are these 6% of women in interventional cardiology? Like, we are sisters. We are in practically doing the same thing. And I've met a couple of them, say on Instagram. And it's not, so it takes some legwork to meet them. And over time, what's helped me, I write about what's helped me on my blog, tiredsuperheroine.com, for those who might be wondering. But I talk about, say, my societal involvement. So the Society of Interventional Radiology is a national society. And we all gravitate together because women in IR is a small group. And I hope that that's happening in other specialties too.
Yes, no, absolutely. I can tell you that in emergency medicine, thankfully, I mean, it is still male dominated. Thankfully, the numbers are not as stark as what you're describing. But then also, I mean, with neurosurgery and with interventional radiology, orthopedics, I mean, these are all specialties where there are not large numbers of individuals going into it each year, right? So there's that. And then it may not necessarily be well advertised. Because I remember when I was in medical school, I did a radiology rotation, yes. But I was never introduced to interventional radiology. It was all, hey, let's look at this MR, let's look at this X-ray, let's look at this CT scan. But there was never, hey, procedures, you know what I mean? Like that wasn't
part of it.
Right. That wasn't even included.
Yeah.
So, I think it's exposure too.
Totally. It's exposure. Yeah. People are working on that. Like there are some medical schools where they don't even have exposure to IR. They don't have an IR department. So people are working on that. And then there are the other case where, people just make assumptions about what you may or may not be interested in. But yeah, doing a dedicated radiology elective, you certainly should be rotating through IR if it's there.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So radiology is male dominated. It's, there's just 30% women or some number like that. And then for IR, it drops further. And yeah, so the specialties off the top of my head, they are less than 10% female are, fields like neurosurgery, ortho, vascular surgery is in the low, it's like 11 or 13%. So
what about thoracic surgery? I am so excited because I just let you know that I'm like so proud of my hospital because we have had some amazing thoracic surgeons that have been female.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I mean, every time I see any of them, it just makes me so proud.
So there's more than one.
Yes, there's more than one. Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I know.
we have a pretty big trauma center and we just have two or one and a half.
1.5.
I mean, there's really one. Yeah. And he's not a female.
Got it. Yeah. No, it's just different, like across the board, like what you see. And you know how they say, you mentioned that if you're at a place as a medical student, for example, and there is a radiology rotation and there is exposure to interventional, then fantastic. But if you don't see the thing, it's difficult for you to visualize yourself being it, right? So, which is why it's great that you have your blog. It is great that you post on Instagram, you post on Twitter. It is great that you do that because now that's an opportunity for those who may be in a place where they're not going to see that they're going to get an opportunity to make contact with you, to see what you do, to learn about what you do, and maybe even consider it as an option for them. Right? So
I've put myself out there as a virtual role model. So if you don't have one, I'm your girl.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. That is awesome. And then, so you have a couple of things that we could probably dig into a little bit because, we have to talk about fear. Like we're at the coffee shop, right? Well, you're at your house and I'm at my house in my basement.
I would love to talk about
I don't know
fear.
what room you're in, but anyway, we're in the coffee shop and we're talking about fear. And here we go. It's like, okay,
about the coffee.
You do have coffee? Oh,
do you?
I'm the one that's the odd person out here. I didn't have any coffee. I have my water bottle because I literally just worked out before this broadcast.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yes. Hence why I'm wearing my workout shirt. With my
I was sleeping before this, so
there you go. So we're in like a good.
We're both working on our wellness, but in different ways.
Sleep, movement, hey, both work. Yeah. And so, was there any fear when you decided that you were going to go for interventional radiology? Was there any fear there?
Yes. Well. I think there's fear throughout the medical journey, and I think we don't give it a lot of airtime. So I think that's another reason why I admire your project so much, because we all deal with it every day. And I just think, in my path, I have acknowledged the fear and just walked on by it like every day. Interventional radiology fellowship, terrifying. Medical school clerkships, terrifying. I mean, it's only now as an attending about 6 years in that I don't feel like afraid when I walk into work. I just want to normalize that, I guess. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm an anxious person, but I think, it's all so worth it to be able to save a life, to be able to work with your hands. I mean, you do procedures too. Every time you walk into a procedure, if you've done that 1 or 2 times, so scary. I mean,
yes, of course.
And I think
particularly the airways that are like crash.
Yes, as our patients get more obese. Yes, the airways, where are they?
Yes. Oh, geez.
So same thing. I mean, as our patients get bigger, it's like, where is that blood vessel? I thought I knew how to do ultrasound, and now I think I'm lost.
Yes, indeed.
It becomes more challenging.
So you find that fear that you're describing, is that the fear of performance, or is it the fear of not, of being in a situation where maybe it's something you haven't seen before, or what do you think it is?
Yeah, as we gather experience in medicine, I mean, they call it the practice of medicine. We're all practicing. And everybody has that feeling as a medical student, I'm sure, where, they say, see one, do one, teach one. Depending on what you're doing and teaching, that's a big leap.
You do more than that, yeah.
It's a big leap. I think it's a big leap.
Indeed.
I think the fear pushes us to really perform. Like waking up this morning and coming on a live broadcast, I was a little bit afraid, like, will I deliver? And I feel that way when I approach the patient too. Or you don't know, even in a consent process, some patients react completely differently. Every single person reacts differently to what you say. And you have to aggregate experience over time and just realize that, that does help over time.
It mitigates it a little bit.
I think embracing fear gives you, I've just become like a personal development person over time. I always want to be reading something about, how to get to the next level. And I think part of that is embracing fear, not just ignoring it, stuffing it down, pushing past it, but, embracing, because when you have that rush of adrenaline, like for me, say removing a vena cava filter, for some reason, every time, even 6 years into practice, that gives me the hugest rush. The filter could go flying into the heart. The patient could yell because I'm pulling on their vena cava. I mean, it's all really...
It's high risk.
Yeah. Even when it's not high risk, it feels like it to my body.
Yeah.
So I think the work is exciting. So that's what I guess I've sublimated the fear into excitement. And it's amazing what you can do. I work at a trauma center. So, if you look at a patient who's all battered and bloody, I mean, that's scary.
That is scary.
Yeah. And how do you, over time, just work through that?
Yeah. No.
So you can help the patient. I mean, it just comes down to, like, whether it's putting yourself out there on a podcast or a blog or helping a trauma patient. I mean, it's just realizing that your mission is greater than your fear.
Absolutely. And it's funny that you say that. I mean, I think that's fantastic. I mean, I'm learning a lot from you. Thank you.
Oh, that's so nice of you.
I'm just saying, because here's the deal. It's almost like, and when you talk about it, I sense this excitement that you are, trying to convey. And I also realize that, you are an excellent doctor. And how do I know that? I've never seen you practice. I know that because you just said it. You just said that you are constantly working on being better than you were yesterday, which makes an excellent doctor. Okay, that's what you want from your person taking care of you. Yeah. And then the next thing is, you also said that you are afraid. Okay, and you're not saying that you're afraid that, that fear is going to paralyze you and prevent you from action. You're saying that is a fear that drives the excitement, that drives you to learn more, to be better, to perform better, to provide the best service possible to your patients. And I think that is important. That is actually, I would say, paramount, because it is when we are no longer afraid and we roll in and we're like, whatever, I've done this like 50 times. That's when we get dangerous. Do you know what I mean? Because
totally
you're in that phase where you're not a learner anymore. Like you're not working on being better anymore. And so that's not good for the people that you're encountering.
Yeah, you have to stay humble, I guess.
Yes.
And I am good at what I do, and I can say I'm humbled every day by it. I mean, whether it's just a patient who's really difficult and I just need to be more of a wordsmith than I was. I've never considered myself a great communicator, but blogging for 2 years certainly helps.
Absolutely.
I have been able to develop, work through this crazy life, which is being a physician, and dissect the different parts of it and share what I learn. And I love it.
No, it's great.
I love every part of it.
Yeah, no, it's so you mentioned a few things that are pretty huge. So you basically recognize that a lot of what we do, yes, there's a skill set that we have to learn, we have to maintain, we have to constantly improve upon. But the skill set that we're always working on is the communication skill set. And that's the one that can make or break us. No matter how amazing we are technically, no matter how amazing, we are in the eyes of our colleagues or, in the eyes of other patients, if we're one-on-one with a patient and we are unable to communicate to them, to their family, what needs to be done so that they can make an informed decision, then we failed. That's just the bottom line. And that communication is not always easy, right? I mean, you just mentioned it, you just said now I've had to figure out ways to actually craft my words such that I am conveying the message that I'm intending to convey. Because there's always a backstory, right? The patient always has a backstory that they're dealing with. There may be a word that you utilize that may be triggering some, unfortunate memory for them, and they're no longer listening to the rest of what you have to say. Good content, but they're just not listening. And so it's such a huge deal, the communication skill set piece. And it's awesome that you are able to really hone in on that through blogging, because that's an expression of your right brain, right? That is like all creativity, and you're stimulating that whole piece of you that medicine kind of doesn't stimulate.
I didn't expect it to make me a better communicator, but I think it forced me to edit down my words. I would run around the point and then get to the point. I think blogging has helped me with that. And it's an unexpected side benefit.
That's awesome.
I wanted it to teach me to write a book, which to me was not as scary. I'm just better one-on-one or, with the page. So to me, that wasn't as scary, but I'm really glad that it's teaching me how to speak as well.
Awesome. No, that's awesome. That is awesome. Wow. See, look at that. That's pretty cool. And then, so you have to so we talked about how people can reach you, right? So you have the blog is here on the screen. So for those listening, it is tiredsuperheroine.com. Okay. And then check out the blog for sure, because there's lots of good stuff. There's 2 years worth of good content for you to consume, for you to be edified by, for you to be encouraged by, and for you to basically go read and comment on, etc. Pass it on, share it in all your social media sources. And then if you were looking to get in contact with Dr. Hamilton, you can look her up, Barbara Hamilton, on all of the social media platforms. Her IG is at Tired Superheroine. On Twitter, you are TS
Superheroine. Yep.
Superheroine. And so go ahead and check her out, follow her, and she has lots of great content. So I hope that will be helpful to you. And then, this is like always the part where I get kind of sad, because I'm like, having such a good conversation. I don't want to finish it. But we are at that point where we're going to have to do our fill in the blanks, which is our tradition that ends the show. So Dr. Hamilton, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, awesome. All right. So the first one is, if I am fearless, I will.
I'm pulling up my, I had something important to say. So, I mean, to me, fearless freedom means strengthening your voice and your conviction enough to tackle everything you want in life.
Okay. All right. So, awesome. And then if you are fearless, you will.
I will travel around the country and beyond, spreading my message of empowering female physicians who want to thrive in male-dominated spheres of medicine.
Awesome. And then last but not least, my battle cry is.
My battle cry is the name of my upcoming book, which comes out in October. It's called Save Lives, Enjoy Your Own. It's on finding your place in medicine.
Awesome. So is your book going to be available on all outlets, Amazon, Barnes and Nobles? How is that going to be released?
I'm still learning about the process. It's being formatted, so it'll be available in paperback on my website. If people want to get ahead of that or pre-order it, they can get on my mailing list. So just go to my website and there's a little coffee mug, a red coffee mug though, where they can get on my email list and get updates from me. Then you'll be the first to know. And then it will be an ebook format on Amazon as well, or print on demand.
Awesome. That is fantastic.
Woo!
Woo-hoo-hoo. Thank you.
I can't wait.
Thank you. I know that's super exciting. I mean, it's to see a product of, hard work. Because I'm sure it took you a little, it took you some time. You had to take time out to write and then edit and rewrite all the things. And so that is just super exciting to now know that you're going to have something that's out there that is evergreen. Form.
Yeah, yes. I just meant to write an ebook, and it's going to be a physical book, which I always loved a physical book. So I think other people do too.
And it looks like you accomplished the goal of starting a blog too. Because you mentioned before that the reason why you started a blog was to kind of give you some practice towards, the goal of writing the book. So that is phenomenal.
Thank you so much.
Way to go. Awesome. All right. So thank you for everyone who jumped on. There were several people that jumped on.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thank you so much for jumping on live on Facebook as well as YouTube. Thank you. If you're on Facebook, we know what to do. Share this with a friend, because friends share with friends the good stuff. So you want to do that. You want to be that person. And then if you are on YouTube, you want to go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you can get all of the good stuff coming your way from the channel. All right. So this is Dr. G, and we are here with Dr. Barbara Hamilton from thetiredheroine.com. And she has a book coming out. Don't forget that you're going to go and get that. You're going to go to her website, click on the red coffee mug, get on her waiting list, get on her mailing list so that you can get your hands on her phenomenal book that's coming out. All right. So have an amazing day. Be brave, be strong, and unleash your greatness. Thank you, Dr. Hamilton.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Fear stops us from achieving our true greatness. Are you a professional woman who is feeling stuck, unmotivated, or burned out? Are you worried about your wellness? Are you letting fear stop you from crushing your goals? If you answered yes to any or all of these, then this is the podcast for you. Dr. Charmaine Gregory, night shift emergency physician, burnout thriver, and wellness champion, along with everyday heroes just like you, will explore how to face fear in our lives and emerge victoriously.